So 1970 Bears, another heart attack type game. They're going to be responsible for a lot of high blood pressure, I think, in Illinois and all the Bears fans watching. But a win is a win. We'll take it. But my God, it's going to be, I mean, what's this? The third, fourth game in a row where they've just literally just given us heart attacks. But we won, and we wouldn't do that last year, let's be honest. Got to give your hats off to the defense because in the first quarter, the offense started slow for us. We didn't really get anything going. Defense kept us, you know, in the game. They only held them to like basically a field goal, and that I've been one of the biggest critics of the defense, even though they get a lot of takeaways. It can be kind of our weak link, but they were probably, I reckon that first half for the Bears was their best performance for the defense, in my opinion. Um, I know JJ, or how he likes to call himself, as AKA Mr. Nine, or whatever he wants to call himself. I know he struggled a bit. His wide receivers let him down a few times, and people will point to that more than our defense playing well. But I actually think this was our best performance defensively wise. It's the first time I've seen us kind of get that pressure where we're seeing defensive linemen getting deflections off the ball when he's throwing the ball. He just didn't look very comfortable in the pocket. It looked really good in a defensive point of view. But offensively, the first quarter definitely it was a bit of a struggle. Some of those long balls by Caleb weren't hitting. It was a bit of a struggle towards the end, but he played well towards it. He played overall. He played well. I said it on Twitter or X or what you want to call it. It was like a Caleb. It was like a 10-year-old kid playing Madden with him. The way he was escaping the sacks and stuff because there was a lot of pressures going way towards his end, and he was managing to get out of it. Even Tom Brady was kind of like laughing about like how is he doing that, which you got to you know if Tom Brady's saying it, you got to take your hats off. But no shout out to the defense there. Wright, who was playing with a very heavy heart. His head coach in college was obviously horribly killed during the week, and when he got that interception, just that was an unreal interception. Stop them getting a touchdown, stop them getting points, give us the ball. But it wasn't just a standard interception. That was unbelievable catch. Bayard as well getting another interception. He's just been unbelievable. What, six interceptions in the season, I think it is now. But second half was a lot better offensively. Komet had his best game of the season. He just ran over people, and then Loveland didn't get as many touches, but when he did, he just ran over them. And I said it last week. I was critical of maybe, well, not last week, but when we the touchdown against the Bengals, I think it was no against yeah, when he got the touchdown, I felt like I would be quite pissed off if I was the defense for the Bengals, the way he got the touchdown. But it just shows like this game here, he's really tough to tackle, and I'm glad that Loveland's on our team, and he looked really good. But towards the end, it felt like we won again against the Vikings. It looked like they were going to beat us. JJ started playing well towards the end, out of nowhere, because 90% of it he was crap. But towards the end, he started playing well. They got the touchdown, and we had, what, 50 seconds to get the win. But that's what I love about this team. It's not Caleb just dragging the team the back of the neck. Come on, lads. It's not just the defense make the turnovers, special teams, and then return the kickoff, set us up for a field goal, and love it. Absolutely love it. But I've got Harrison Graham with me today. My UK friends, obviously, honestly follow him. He obviously does live streams and stuff, but if you want to like kind of just show like a clip of how Bear fans are reacting, Harrison Graham's a guy to go to because his videos are top class. But so yeah, please check him out, follow him. He's absolutely unreal. So thanks for coming on. Just your initial reaction to another ridiculous game, Harrison. That is insane, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I think the story of this season is that just someone each week steps up and makes a play, right? I mean, Josh Blackwell blocks a field goal against the Raiders. Caleb Williams, two fourth quarter drives against the Giants. Colson Loveland against the Bengals. You got Devin Duvernay of all people this week. I've been kind of critical of him just because it feels like every kickoff return goes to the 25-yard line. There's just nothing special about it. And then They dial one up where they kind of get that long kind of wide return. They actually ran that same concept with Blackwell earlier in the game, and he got tripped up. It looked like that one was going to pop too, but when you have to have it, you get a big return, and Cairo Santos wins the game. So I just think it's cool that you're seeing this team win in different ways. I think at times they're making it harder than they need to. That was a game that should have never come down to that, but there's something to be said for a team that just has that self-belief, and I think that's what, more than anything else, this new coaching staff has brought to this team.
Yeah, it's a completely different culture change, isn't it? Because I think some of the guys said it where last year, as soon as we went down, the players kind of reacted a bit differently, and it was like, "Ugh, that's it, game over." Whereas now it's like, no, actually, we're going to go and win this, especially with like 50 seconds to go, and Ben Johnson's just proven his worth, hasn't he? Because like we all wanted him, but you never know whether someone who's an offensive coordinator can step up as a head coach because it is a different job, and you just don't know, do you? But he's already proven it to me. Like it's ridiculous, really. Like the change rate of the culture and everything. It's just madness. Um, yeah, we should have won that more comfortably as well. I do agree with that. And um, but like I said, I think last year, even years before that, we lose that game, don't we? And I keep saying it, but it's so good to watch. But yeah, let's just try and win a bit more comfortably. But do you think I'm being a bit disillusional with the defense for that? Because I'm saying I think that was probably the better games of the year. And I think it does help, got Booker back in defensive line. I feel like that's made a massive difference, getting a bit more pressure. Is it more like the Vikings were being a bit crap, or do you think the defense is starting to step up a bit?
I thought the defense played pretty well. I mean, they certainly dropped a few passes. The Bears dropped some as well. So it wasn't the
Mhm.
cleanest game from either offense. But I do think Dennis Allen, for all the injuries this team has done a pretty good job. I mean, this team just does not have that good of a pass rush. Like, let's just be honest. Like, to generate pressure, he's having to blitz. Every once in a while, Montez Sweat will win a one-on-one. Every once in a while, Trevon Dexter wins a one-on-one. I thought Grady Jarrett had his best game, so that was a positive. But they're just not consistently with four going to generate pressure. They just don't have the horses. So, Dennis Allen's having to bring different pressure looks, and that's a scary proposition when you've had backup players in your secondary playing. So I think
Mhm.
all things considered, yeah, this team gives up a lot of yards and points, but they lead the NFL in takeaways. They lead the NFL in interceptions, and to do that without a pass rush is pretty impressive. So if they can get Jalen back here soon, which it sounds like that's going to be the case, I don't know if it'll be this week, but it'll be soon. Kyler Gordon should be back in the next couple weeks. When TJ Edwards was playing, that linebacker pairing was playing really well. I mean, I think Tremaine Edmonds has easily had his best year since coming to Chicago. So if you get those three players back and your other guys that are playing well stay healthy, yeah, the front four is going to be probably average at best. But if your back seven is healthy, I think that group can be pretty elite. So I think you can have a top 12-ish defense down the stretch. And, I don't think you can have a top 8, top 10 defense when you don't have a really good front four, but can it be top 12, top 15? I think that's absolutely on the table. And if that's the case with already how many takeaways you're getting, I think those are numbers you can live with.
But are you surprised? I don't mean I asked Rebecca last week, but are you surprised that we didn't? Well, Shannon, sorry, last week. Are you surprised we didn't go in heavy towards the trade deadline for a defensive lineman, or do you think there's just too many pieces in the defense
Uh,
that maybe it's next year is the year that we kind of look at free agency and all that kind of thing?
I'm not surprised. I mean, I think they sniffed around. I think there's been enough breadcrumbs. I mean, Ryan Poles said they turned over every stone. I don't think the top guys are really available. I mean, I guess they could have gotten in on like Quentin Williams, but they really needed more of an edge. I just think they poked around and the value didn't make sense. Like a second round pick for Jermaine Johnson doesn't really make sense. So I actually thought they handled the deadline fine. Like play this year out, get a depth piece like they did because you needed a body, and let the chips fall where they may. We all would love to win the Super Bowl. They're probably not a Super Bowl team this year, so let's just enjoy the ride, evaluate everything at the end of the year, and if they feel like they're close, then sniff around this offseason. Maybe a Max Crosby is available this offseason when he wasn't available at the trade deadline. Maybe someone else springs loose. Maybe you make a big trade up in the draft for a pass rusher you like. So these things can be revisited, but I had no problem with their trade deadline approach.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going above expectations in my opinion because I felt like this year it was about give Caleb a year of being able to develop as a quarterback because last year was such a shit show, let's be honest, that he couldn't do that. This year, it's also Ben Johnson's first year as a head coach. And I felt like actually all I want to see is actually improvement. And I feel like actually, I know the schedule's been, I know everyone's saying the schedule's been nice to us, but like I said, like we don't win those type of games normally. And I feel like we're above expectations at the minute. And I said, even if we don't make playoffs, I don't think like, I'm not saying that's a bad season. I actually think I can see that Caleb's a good quarterback. We can all see that now. Everyone's saying it, other the media that criticizing his nail colours and whatever. But everyone knows he's a good quarterback. We know that Ben Johnson has got players wanting to run through a wall for him. Um, and that's all I wanted to see, to be honest. And I felt like next season is probably going to be the season where we're going to see a better play. Do you think that's fair? Or do you think maybe I should look at this season and
Yeah,
think,
I mean, to me, this year was about three things: establishing culture, check; learning how to win games, check; seeing the quarterback improve, check. Like that's all happened already. So I think from here on out, unless they lose like 7 in a row and Caleb severely regresses, I don't see a scenario where this year isn't considered at least a step in the right direction, if not a massive success. Like if this team makes the playoffs, especially in a really tough NFC, like that's a huge accomplishment. So the fact that they're in first place with 7 weeks to go in their division is pretty remarkable. Whether or not that ends up playing out, we'll see. But I don't see, if you're a Bears fan, how you could really ask for anything more up to this point this year. I mean, I think we're playing with some house money here the rest of the way to kind of see what happens from here. So I think Bears fans should be fired up. I'm with you. I think next year and beyond, this team has the chance to be even better and really kind of build that sustainability, because I still think there are roster question marks. Like, you need to find a big time pass rusher to grow with. You probably need to upgrade at left tackle, whether or not that's someone on the roster, like if they revisit the Ozzie situation, if they move Darnell over there in the offseason and play Ozzie on the right side. Like those are all things for the offseason. But I think for now, it's like, just enjoy the journey. I mean, they're winning games. They're winning games in ways they would always lose. So it's exciting, man. It's been fun to watch.
100%. Like, I've got a question here, but it's kind of redundant now because of the news of Moody being moved, well, gone to Washington now. So I mean, I react obviously during the game. Santos missed the field goal in the game, and obviously he got the winning field goal. So, he showed balls there and he got it through. But obviously, there's a bit of criticism from Bear fans towards Santos. Like I said, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of redundant now because Moody's kind of gone, so I don't know who else is going to step up. But are you happy with Santos, or would you be kind of humming and ahhing? Because I saw your tweet about it's a shame that Moody can't kind of challenge it for next season. So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah. The Santos thing is a tough conversation, because what I've always said is when he's in his range, he's pretty damn good. Now, he's missed a couple this year that you're like, okay, like if you're going to miss from 40 something, like you already don't have the strongest leg, so that's not the greatest. But all things considered, I mean, I think people forget how much of a mess the kicker situation was after Robbie Gould and before Cairo Santos. Like, all things equal, he's been a pretty damn reliable kicker. Now, is it frustrating when you watch these other games and these other kickers can try these 60, 62 yarders and make them a decent amount, and the Bears can't even try those? Yeah, like I think that is frustrating. And I think long term, you would like to have a stronger legged kicker. And that's where the Moody thing, it's not the end of the world because it was a small sample size. And with San Francisco, he really was not very good at all. He's like a 75% accuracy guy. But my hope was that he would stick around and that they would open that up as a competition next year, right? Like that.
Mhm.
I think the Bears have shown their hand. Like Cairo's the kicker this year. Like whether Bears fans like that or don't, that's who they trust. If they really wanted to keep Jake Moody, they could have. They could have put him on the active roster and kept two kickers. They didn't think that was worth it. You know, I think there has to be some level of trust of like, hey, they're seeing this guy in practice every day. Like, I'm sure they would have liked to keep him on the practice squad, but if a team wants to sign him to the active roster and he wants to go and they're not willing to use a 53 spot on him, I think you just kind of have to say, well, that sucks, and it is what it is. Now, time will tell. I mean, maybe 5 years from now, Jake Moody has shown he's one of the best kickers in the NFL, but I don't know if a 2-game sample size was enough for the Bears to make a decision like that on the fly. So I think they were in a tough spot there, and they cut him loose, let him go to Washington. So I do think long term, I would like to at least next year bring in competition, a strong leg guy. I know they had a guy, I think his name was Jonathan Kim in training camp this year at UDFA. Clearly he didn't show enough to push Cairo, but I think from here on out, you got to Cairo's year to year. It's like bring in competition every year in the off season when you have a 90-man roster. And if he gets beat out, he gets beat out. So that's kind of where I'm at with the kicker situation. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's a minor bummer, but I will say this. I tweeted this out during the game. Is it crazy to say that had he missed that game winner, which means he would have missed the last two kicks, that maybe they make a different decision here? Like maybe they would have kept Moody on the 50, put him on the 53. That seems wild to say over one kick, but I do wonder if that would have thrown a wrench into their decision because he would have missed not one but two kicks in his range that if you just make one of them, you win the game. But obviously he made the kick, so no harm, no foul. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that situation.
Yeah, and to be fair to the Bears, like they were even when he was injured, they were like, no, when he's back, he's back. Like he's gonna be starting. So it wasn't even a debate, was it, for the Bears as such? So they obviously got
It was
confidence in
it was
him.
a it was a it was a fan controversy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A fan competition. Now again, maybe time will tell us that they should have kept Moody. Like
Mhm.
we'll find out. But the Bears were consistent in their messaging. Like Cairo's the kicker. So
Yeah, I think like we've all got PTSD, I think, from kickers. I mean, from the double bonk against Philly in the playoffs that time. I think that's like we just haven't really since Robbie Gold's gone. I feel like we just haven't like because Robbie Gold was so good, wasn't he? Like playing in those conditions week in week out in Chicago, and he was just so consistent, and we just haven't had that
yeah,
yet. But yeah, fair play to Sanos there. I think everyone forgets about the Green Bay game as well. He won us that, didn't he, towards the end and stuff. So
he said some
yeah,
big kicks.
yeah, he does, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's like that's when he's under pressure the most, isn't it? Because if he misses, that's when he's going to get absolutely smashed, isn't it? Really, but overall, like, I mean, we're looking at a very good position. We've had a nice schedule, winnable games. It's going to get a bit tougher, but do you think we're playoff bound, or do you think it's going to get a bit? Yeah.
I think they have a good shot. I mean, Detroit, this Dan Campbell taking over play calling thing, that's caught my attention. I'm curious to see how that looks. It looked great against Washington, who has like no players left. Did not look so good against a Vic Fangio defense. So, let's see how that goes moving forward. I like that the Bears get them at home in Week 18. I think we saw that. Got a nice reminder the other night that offense does not look the same if weather elements come into play. So, if you're a Bears fan, root for bad weather in Week 18. Green Bay is a flawed team. Sometimes Jordan Love looks like an MVP, sometimes he looks like a backup. So, which version of him? Now Josh Jacobs is going to miss some time, so we'll see if he's available when the Bears play the Packers twice in 3 weeks. The 49ers are a flawed team. That 49ers game feels like a big one. If you win that game, I think this team's at least a wild card team. If you lose, it gets a little dicier. I mean, I think that could be the game that it really comes down to, especially if it comes down to being a wild card team. So I like that game in Week 17. But yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh at home this week, winnable game. It's not a guarantee, but it's a winnable game. Cleveland at home, winnable game. I think both Green Bay games are winnable. I think you should at least feel confident in your chances of getting a split there. So if you can split Green Bay, beat Cleveland at home, you got to find one or two more. Pittsburgh this week feels like a good opportunity. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers plays. Mike Tomlin just said that surgery is not required. This news actually just coming in right before we recorded this, but it's really going to come down to just like functionality. And I think what he means by that is like, can he take a snap under center? Because it's non-throwing hand, so he could probably play in the shotgun, right? But that Arthur Smith offense, they put the quarterback under center a lot. So if he can't take a snap, then he might not be able to play in this game. So we'll see what happens there. You would love your chances against Mason Rudolph. I mean, I think you got to be licking your chops if Mason Rudolph plays this week. So yeah, I mean that's another great opportunity. If you can get this game, it creates some wiggle room if you can get to 8-3. So this is a massive opportunity on Sunday.
Yeah, just before I let you go, because obviously, I mean, playing Pittsburgh, but it's Aaron Rodgers, isn't it? And it's like he's coming back to Chicago, and it just feels a bit. I'm quite anxious just because of that. I don't think he's even played that well in the last couple of weeks anyway. But it's because it's Chicago, and it's just the way he's just tormented us. I just
Yeah.
that's my only worry. It's like I know I saw it just before we come on here that it sounds like he's going to play. Um, I just I just feel like he always steps up against us, and it's just like
Yeah.
I mean I hope we. I know it won't take away what he did when he played for Green Bay and stuff like that, but I really, 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 really hope we beat them just because of him
I'd
as
love
well.
it. I mean, the best case scenario this weekend is he plays and they beat him, right? I mean, it's like, all
Mm.
right, sayonara. We never have to see you again. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. You know, he wants to play. I mean,
Mm.
he's gonna be pushing to play in this game. So I'm with you. I think he will play. But it will be interesting to see how they handle like that. Probably means more shotgun than they want to run. That would be my guess. So that'll be something to watch.
No, thank you for coming on anyway today. Honestly, I know you've had a few technology issues as well with your new stuff
Yeah,
and that.
sorry
So I
sorry
really,
about
no,
that.
I really appreciate it, mate. Really appreciate it. Like I said to all my friends in the UK, like give Harrison Graham a follow. He's like, honestly, it's worth it. So thank you for coming on, mate. And yeah, go Bears.
Yeah, we'd love to do it again. And next time we will have the proper setup. So we'll get that straightened out.
No, you're spot on.